It'll pop up. Been a little while since I've been live. Here we go. Been a little while since I've been live. Here we go. Hey Chappie, how you going, bro? Been a little while since I've been live. Here we go. Oh, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that volume there. Let's move this camera a little bit closer. Hey bro, you riding today? Oh, cool, bro. Sweet as. Yeah, just thought I'd jump on, man. It's been 4 weeks yesterday since the crash. So I thought I'd jump on, a little bit of an update. Just around happenings and what have you. So yeah. But pretty much, yeah, 4 weeks. 4 weeks since the crash. I had about 7 hours in surgery to put the nail and the screws in the leg and get all that straightened. 2 plates in the hand. So I've got a long plate along here, and I've got a smaller plate underneath here to hold the end of the radius back on, because I broke the end off the radius. Basically the wrist, if you have a look at the x-ray on the thumbnail, the hand was right across here. So I've had to realign all that and plate it to keep it in place. So yeah, at least 3 months before the top plate comes out and 6 months before that bottom plate comes out. Because basically when they pull the wrist back into position, nothing would hold it. It'd just fall straight back into the position where it was broken. So yeah, that's that. 6 weeks non-weight bearing. So basically been in a wheelchair since I got out of hospital. I spent a week in hospital between Cairns Base Hospital and Mossman Hospital. So I think had surgery on the Monday after the crash, which was on the Saturday. I think I was in hospital for the Tuesday and the Wednesday, and I think I got transferred back to Mossman on the Thursday. Spent Thursday, Friday, and then got released from hospital on the Saturday. So yeah, had a 2-week checkup while I was still up in Cairns. I sort of had to hang around for that to get clearance to fly. So they took all the dressings and everything off and took all the stitches out of the hand. There was 30 stitches in the top of the hand, and 11 stitches on the underside. There was multiple staples in the leg from the knee, staples on the sides from the keyhole where they put the pins through into the nail that's in the tibia. But yeah, if you follow me on Facebook or Insta, you would have seen all the photos of that. So yeah, so I've got another 2 weeks non-weight bearing. So I have a checkup here in the Hervey Bay Hospital to find out if I can start walking and yeah, and start using the hand or the arm, because this one here is also 6 weeks non-weight bearing. So the most I can pick up with this one is about 200 grams. So it's pretty much just along for the ride, this one. Yeah, so hopefully when I have the checkup in another 2 weeks time, they'll let me start putting weight on the leg and start trying to walk again. Obviously this one here, hopefully I'll be able to start using it, but yeah, 3 months time the top plate's supposed to come out, and 6 months time the bottom plate. So there's a long road to go on this one. Obviously having to get cut open again, plate removed, stitched back up. Got to wait for the wound to heal there, and then another 3 months after I get that taken out, I've got to get cut open here, that plate taken out, stitched up. Those stitches I've got to repair, and then basically got to start on rehab recovery on that. So yeah, it's I definitely 6 months minimum before I even think about getting on the bike, because that's this plate here is 6 months. So yeah, what else on that? Yeah, well, on the injury, the leg was a spiral fracture or break. Apparently one of the worst types, because when they realign the bone, there's nothing to hold it in position because of the way the spiral break is. A normal break, when it's broken, you can realign it, and the bone, when it's realigned, the bone will actually hold itself in position, and normally they'll just cast it and let it do its healing. But because of the spiral fracture, it just won't hold in position, so hence the nail through the tibia. Yeah, also just below the knee, the fibia is fractured as well. I can actually feel that one when I do certain movements with the leg. I can feel that fibia actually moving. So there's nothing they could do with the fibia where it's fractured. Luckily enough, they say that the fibia is only, it's not weight bearing, or it doesn't really do much. So just got to try and keep it as still as possible, and hopefully it'll take and join back on where it's fractured. Yeah, so both basically broken tibia and fractured fibia. The arm was basically severe dislocation of the wrist, end broken off the radius, and a fracture on the end of the ulna. So yeah, basically the surgeons and the doctors said both injuries are at the extreme end of the spectrum for broken arm / wrist and broken leg. They're probably the worst type you could have for basically for fixing. So, but we're adhering to what the doctors are saying with the 6 weeks non-weight bearing on both. Give myself the best opportunity for all the bones to heal and get sorted. So yeah, in another 2 weeks' time, I'll have scans and X-rays to see how the bones are healing, to see whether they're starting to take and mend back together. So yeah, that's still a waiting game at the moment. What else? Yeah, so some of the comments on, like, I put up a post on Australian Enduro with photos of the breaks and photos of the injury repairs, and asking if there's other people out there that had similar injuries and their recovery time and things like that. So yeah, it was overwhelming, the responses in there, and how many people had have similar breaks in both the arm and the leg, and the same surgery to rectify it, and also insight into the rehab side of things, about the importance of, doing what the doctors say and getting things moving as quick as possible with physio and stuff like that, to make sure nothing binds. I've still got limited, even with this wrist brace off, I've got limited movement in the arm. I can only, like, this arm here, you can twist right round. This arm here is basically got limited movement, even with the wrist brace off. So I'm working on that, trying to get more rotation in that arm. Basically, the plates have locked the wrist, so I can't do this with that arm. and I can't do that. Basically the wrist is locked in alignment once again due to the severity of the break and the dislocation. Yes. What other notes have I got here? Yeah, so that's what I was getting at with the with the post in the Australian Enduro on Facebook. I had people saying to me, "Oh shit, did you get hit by a 4-wheel drive, or you must have been hooking along, due to the severity of the injuries." But when you actually see the footage and see the crash, or the video for the crash, I've only watched it once, and yeah, I've got another 2 videos that I'm going to edit and drop before the crash video, which will be probably in another 3 weeks' time. So I've got another video it'll be the last video from the Las Vegas Rumble in the Jungle. It's my last lap on the Sunday. So there'll be that video. Then there'll be the video of the lead up to the crash, like the ride with my brother and Raymond and Butto from Daintree up the Creb to the point where I crashed. And then I'll have a video. I'll have a breakdown of the crash and explanations on what happened and that sort of thing. So soon it'll be a little bit before you get to see what actually happened in the aftermath. But I'm sure most of you will be keen to hang around and watch the vids in the lead up to that. So some of the comments on the Australian Enduro was pretty full on. Gnarly crash, blah blah blah. Wait and see the footage and the aftermath, and you'll see. Touched on the injury. Super stoked to dodge. I was told initially that once I'd had the 2-week checkup, that the leg had be going in a full cast for the remainder of the 6 weeks, non-weight bearing. So the doctor that did my assessment at the fracture clinic, he'd said to me he could clearly see that I'd been adhering to the non-weight bearing and really been doing the right thing. So he opted to put me in a moon boot rather than in a cast. So I'm so grateful for that, to be able to undo the moon boot, wash my leg. If it gets itchy or sore, I can take the moon boot off, have a scratch, have a bloody itch or whatever, rather than being stuck in a cast and not being able to access those spots that are itchy or sore. Just being able to massage spots. I've got hard spots in the muscles, or lack thereof muscles. I've got, from what the doctor said, there's clotted blood. Like I got a hard spot around the ankle, and I did have a hard spot along the full length of the shin, which the doctor and the nurse said was clotted blood from laying in bed after the surgery and what have you. They said that would dissipate and break down over time. So I've been massaging arnica and stuff into that to try and release that blood and the swelling and stuff. So basically just doing everything I can to try and free up movement, reduce swelling, that kind of thing. So at the moment with that foot, I basically have only got about that much movement with the foot, rather than being able to stretch it right out and pull it right back. I've only got minimal amount of movement in that. So I'm trying to work on that each day, trying to get it a bit further, but you can feel the tightness and that in the ankle, and there's stuff there that's blocking that movement. So keep working on that. I'm hoping that once I get mobile and I start getting to be able to put weight on it, that the walking motion will help free that up a bit as well. So yeah, cast. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on painkillers, like and being in hospital and that so pretty much directly after surgery I had a button on the side of my bed, which I was pretty out of it when they explained it to me. I don't remember what they said was in there. Simone reckons they said that it was morphine, so I think I could push that button once every 2 hours or something, which I had a cannula permanently in my arm for antibiotics, and obviously was linked up to that morphine as well. So when things got bad, I could push that button and it'd give me a hit of that. So in the first day, I pushed that button once because yeah, it was pretty excruciating and that. So so they keep an eye on that. Every time they did the checkup, they'd check how many times you'd push the button. You know, and they said to me, "Oh, you've only pushed that button once." And I said, "Yeah, well, you know, I'm pretty keen to get out of hospital and you know, get going and that." So, because they'd sort of said to me when I was a little bit more coherent, they said basically, the more times I press the button, you know, the longer I'd probably have to stick around in hospital just due to obviously pain management and that. So on the second day when they come in, I'd still only push that button once. And the doctor said to me, "Oh, well, you know, we may as well disconnect that and take it and give it to somebody that needs it." So they took that away. Yeah, so I was still... they were giving me endone and tramadol. I tell you what, there was one night there they gave me a hit. I think they gave me a hit of both of them and some other stuff. I was getting oral tablets for blood clotting because I wasn't able to get out of bed. I had a catheter in, basically to, you know, so I didn't have to go to the toilet. Because I couldn't. Yeah, so man, I tell you what, tripping on that stuff, like wide awake, closed my eyes, and instantly was seeing really weird stuff, like the ground was black and then it just started cracking and peeling, and you know, like lava was coming through it, and I'd open my eyes and it's like, well, I'm not asleep, I'm awake. It's just the minute I close my eyes, my mind's just putting these images in there. And this was like in the middle of the night. I think it was like midnight or something like that. Every time I closed my eyes, I was getting these weird... only thing I can put it down to was like hell. What hell must look like with, you know, flames and fire. And so I lay there awake, trying to watch TV, listen to the radio, because I just didn't want to close my eyes because of the images that I was getting. Yeah, up in the clouds that night, bro, that's for sure. Yeah, so anyway, that was pretty trippy. The weird thing was that I knew I was awake because it was happening the minute I closed my eyes. So I'd try and keep my eyes closed and say to myself, "Dude, you're awake. This isn't real. Just, you know, you can push through this. You can get rid of those images. Think of something cool. Think of riding your bike and that sort of thing." But I'll tell you, there was no breaking those images. So I don't know how many hours I laid there for awake, testing, closing my eyes every so often, seeing if I was still getting those images. And as long as I was getting those images, I was keeping my eyes open. So yeah, that was a bit of an experience. Then yeah, one of the other funny things was the nurses would come and take the vitals every 4 hours, so take blood pressure, check your temperature, give you your medication. Like they'd ask you what your pain was on a scale out of 10. I'd say to the nurse, I said, oh, it's about a 3 at the moment. Oh, no worries, we'll get you some endone and we'll get you some ibuprofen, and so they'd come back and give me that. So then 4 hours later, different nurse had come in after shift change. The nurse would be like, oh, how's your pain out of 10? I'd be like, oh, it's about a 4 to 5. And the nurse is like, no worries, I'll get you some Panadol and some ibuprofen. I'm thinking, and I just told this other nurse 4 hours ago that I was at a 3 and she's given me endone. I said, I'm telling you I'm at a 4 to 5 and you're going to give me Panadol and ibuprofen. I'm like, what the? But yeah, anyway, it was really weird. It was like some of the nurses were concerned about, making sure you're comfortable and, not and pain free as possible. And then some of the nurses were like, we don't want to give you, too much painkillers, but I know they'd explained to me what I was allowed every 4 hours, and I knew that I was allowed to have that stronger medication. So, but yeah, it was just interesting that each end of the scale on what the nurses were giving me according to what I was rating my pain at. So, yeah, on that pain side of thing, I was so lucky. I do have quite a high pain threshold. Because when I initially crashed, and I knew instantly that I'd broken the leg and broken the wrist/arm, and yeah, I was laying there, and my brother was behind me and saw the whole crash, and he's pulled up and parked beside me, and he sort of had a bit of a, how you do, haha, you right, bro? And I'm like, nah, man, I've broken my leg and I've broken my arm. And he's like, oh, shit, F. And, yeah, and he says, like, you're just like laying there, propped up on your camel pack, leg flopped to the side, holding your arm, and you're just holding the normal conversation, no screaming, no crying. And, I've personally been on crashes where I've seen people break, broken femur, other broken bones like broken collarbone and stuff like that, and screaming in pain. But yeah, I know a femur's obviously a bigger bone and take a lot more impact to break the femur. And yeah, collarbone, I've never had one of them either. This is actually my first broken bones ever in life, so I decided to do like fracture 4 bones in one hit, and smash more bones in the wrist. So even the doctor and the nurses at the Mossman Hospital, when I got into there, the doctor's like, oh, what do you rate your pain out of 10? And I'm like, oh man, I said it's at about a 3. And he's giving me those funny eyes, and he goes, I know you're in more pain than what you're letting on. And I'm going, well, mate, it's about a 3, to be honest. And I think they give me a couple of endone, and I'm just like sitting there, normal conversation, blah, 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 this. And apparently the doctor and the nurse had said to Simone, they said, we're giving him 2 endone and this other bloody painkiller intravenously, and that said he should be off with the fairies. And that's another thing that I do have I have a high tolerance to medication, like the medications that say may cause drowsiness and stuff like this. I don't have those effects and that. So yeah, I've been in contact with a nurse that treated me in the emergency in Mossman, and she's also I think they call it a triage or operation nurse or something in Cairns. So she does 1 day a fortnight in Mossman. She just happened to be there when I got admitted to hospital straight after the crash. And what's that? Joys of being something, bro. Not sure what that is, chappy. Joys of being ADHD, bro. Yeah. Yeah, so what was I getting at there? Oh yeah, Emily, the nurse. So she said to me, "Oh, I'll actually be in operating in theatre in Cairns on the Monday. I'll possibly see you, depending on when you have your surgery and that. I'll come visit." It just happened that Emily was actually in the theatre beside when I got brought into pre-op, and yeah, Emily had said to one of the other nurses and one of the other doctors, said, "Oh, Emily wanted to come and see you, but she's already scrubbed in next door, so she gives her regards and that, and wishes you well. She'll try and catch up with you after your op." So I've been in contact with Emily through Facebook, and yeah, she actually apparently checked in on me during the operation. Actually said I was checking up on those doctors to make sure they were looking after me, and then she said she also popped in and checked up on me in recovery, but she said obviously I was still out of it in recovery, and so she said that I was the talk of the doctors in the Mossman ED, basically about my pain tolerance, like my pain threshold level and that. And they said that they just couldn't believe with the injuries that I'd sustained when I actually come in, and they were saying to me, "Oh, have you taken any painkillers?" And I said, "No." I said, "I haven't taken any since the crash. I didn't take any after the crash or anything." I said I didn't want to take anything because I know there's certain things that they don't want you taking medication depending on what they have to do to you, what they have to give you. So I hadn't taken any paracetamol or ibuprofen post crash. And yeah, she said the doctors just couldn't believe that that I was operating on zero painkillers and in the spirits that I was in. So yeah, thank you, Emily, for checking up on me, looking after me in the ED, and we'll definitely catch up for a coffee when I'm up that way. Another big shout out to Wombat, to David. He was a guy that came up on us after the crash in his four-wheel drive. He was driving up the Creb. Group of bikes were following him a bit further back. So Wombat actually offered to drive me back to wherever we needed to go. He said to me, "I can drive you back to Daintree, and you can get the ambulance, or I can drive you to the Mossman Hospital if you want. I can drive you to Cairns Hospital." Wombat, he drove me all the way to the Mossman Hospital to the emergency, and I'll just talked to Wombat 2 or 3 days ago. He texted me, asked me how I was going and that. So gave him a call and had a yarn and that to him. So he didn't want anything. My brother tried to offer him money and tried to offer him, beer or multiple different things. He tried to offer Wombat for basically cutting his day short, turning around and bringing me back to the hospital. And even when I spoke to him the other day, he didn't want to have a bar of anything. He just said, "I just hope in the case if something like that ever happened to me that people would do the same thing for me." So Wombat, mate, you're a champion. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you are passing through, like I said on the phone, mate, drop in for a beer or a cuppa, and yeah, next time when I'm back up that way, I'll get in contact with you, and we'll definitely catch up there as well, mate. So, legend, buddy. What else have we got? Yeah, so also a big shout out to my family. My wife Simone for looking after me, come and visit me in Cairns Hospital, and yeah, come and visit me in Mossman Hospital. Due to the fact that I couldn't drive, like couldn't go in the car, and I wasn't allowed to fly directly post-op. Simone did a 2-day trip back from Mossman to Hervey Bay. She had planned to do it over 3 days, but she ended up doing it over 2 days. Was basically I think a 7 hour day. On the first day we drove from Mossman to Bowen, and then the second day she drove through from Bowen to Hervey Bay in like 11 hours. So got the bike home, got all my gear and everything home. She's a bloody champion, eh? Like, thank you for everything, Bubby. Appreciate it. I know it's added stress on you, me being in the wheelchair and stuff, and you know, she's been out mowing the lawn and whippersnipping whilst looking after the horses and dogs and all that sort of thing. So you are a true legend and an awesome wife, best friend. My family in Mossman, Glenn and Sandy, for looking after me for the week. After getting out of hospital, driving me to Cairns for my fracture clinic and hand specialist appointment. You know, both of you giving up a day's work, you know, to get me down there, and making sure I was fed, making sure I was taking my medication, and yeah, really appreciate it. You know, I know they say that's what family's for, but you know, you guys know that I do that for either of you or any of the family at the drop of a hat if you need anything. Yeah, greatly appreciated. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Yeah, so if you haven't, head over to Australian Enduro on Facebook and check out all the comments and that. There's a lot of people posted photos of their breaks and repairs and stuff, and comments on there. If you're interested in the feedback that I got from people, cruise over there, have a look through. There's people in there with spiral fractures the same as mine, all different bits and pieces. If you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, head over there to Making Tracks, at Making Tracks on either of those. I've got photos of the injuries, I've got photos of the repairs and the scars and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm not sure what else. Thanks to the friends, workmates and ex-workmates and all that have called me during the time. Yeah, there's Ash from work's called me at least half a dozen times. Richo's texted me multiple times. You know, Ross and Beck. What we got here? Be good, bro, and if you need anything, let me know. Talk soon and see you out on the tracks in a bit. Cheers, Chappie. Enjoy your ride today, mate. Have fun. Can't wait to see your vid. Yeah, miss riding with you, buddy. Take care, hey. We'll catch up with you. Yeah, so multiple people had a visit from Rico, one of my old workmates. It's still a good mate now. Yeah, Ross and Beck come round. Yeah, big thank you to my father-in-law Klaus for organising my wheelchair and my shower bench. So basically, you know, I have to sit down to shower. So I've got a shower chair in there that I sit on. Yeah, got the wheelchair to get around the house and that. Yeah, so the other thing to sort of lead into is obviously the mental health side of things, and the toll that certain things can take on you. You know, starting from, you know, the moment of the crash, and you know, thinking to yourself about, you know, how it happened. And you know, I do all this riding all the time, all this gnarly stuff, and logs and creeks and rocks and stuff, and then you go and fall off and do this to yourself, and it just, you know, it goes to show how easily things can happen. You don't have to be doing anything stupid. You don't have to be doing anything gnarly or hard. You know, things can just happen in the blink of an eye. Yeah, so you take a hit to your confidence, obviously, and have thoughts going through your head. You know, and I'll be honest, the thoughts going through your head, you know, am I going to ride again? You know, yeah, just those of you that have been through big accidents and stuff, and probably, you know, you'd know what I'm talking about with, you know, having a, oh, you know, that type of injury, and that, am I going to be able to ride? Do I want to ride? Like, hell yeah, I want to ride. Like, you know, I just come second in Hinterland Enduro Club for my class B grade for last season, and man, I was going to be pushing this next coming season to be number one on that podium. Like, train harder, ride harder. Obviously that's not on the cards, because I definitely won't be riding at least till the later half of next year. So yeah, just interested to hear from people about their comebacks from the mental side of things, and having those injuries, how you deal with the thoughts and the doubts that come into your mind, or the hesitation of, oh, I've got to protect my leg, or I've got to protect my hand. Yeah, I'd really like to hear from people that have been through that, and how you've dealt with it and got over it, or how you're working through it and dealing with it now. Yeah, it's something that's obviously going to be with me for, you know, at least 6 months or more. I've got to work through it myself. Obviously, not working. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to get back to work. So that's all an unknown factor at the moment. Yeah, it's yeah, and you know, I've had a lot of people say to me also about the medication side of things, like the painkillers. You know, get off the painkillers as quick as you can, and you know, I'll be honest with you, when I got released from hospital, they did a script for me for Claxine, which is Claxine, which is a preloaded injection that I've got to give myself daily. I'll tell you what, I know how diabetics feel now. Like, every morning I've got to give myself this Claxine, which is an anti-blood clotting injection, because I'm basically not allowed to be active as such, because I'm not walking. I spend a lot of time on the couch or in the wheelchair and that, so just trying to eliminate that deep vein thrombosis and that sort of thing. So yeah, so they prescribed me, hey Sam, how you going, buddy? Thanks for dropping in, man. Yeah, so they prescribed me that, which I'm taking daily. They also prescribed me a 10-pack of endone for pain relief. So So when I was at my brother's, I was having a bad night, pain wise, couldn't sleep, couldn't get comfortable. So popped one of those endone. Bear in mind that I was taking 2 endone while I was in hospital. So I just popped this 1 endone, hoping that it'd take the edge off enough to allow me to get to sleep. And then yeah, here we go again. Trippy stuff again. Like my leg was like rubber band or rubber man. Basically, my leg went out and come back up beside me. Like these are things that I was seeing the minute that I closed my eyes. So I opened my eyes again and checked my leg, and it's like, no, my leg's fine, it's normal. Closed my eyes, and then next thing my leg just started deflating and going flat. So I'm like, oh, eyes open again. Yeah, leg's fine. It's like, man, here we go again. So yeah, laid there. Once again, it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Closed my eyes. Next thing I'm riding in the back of a mine cart down a bloody dirt road, rocky dirt road, being towed by a donkey. All this weird stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? No more endone. So I've now been out of hospital. Yesterday was 2 weeks. 2 weeks out of hospital. And I've still got 9 endone sitting in that packet. I've been just paracetamol and ibuprofen. I mean, the endone does take the pain away, but man, it plays havoc with the mind, that stuff, hey. So it's sitting in the cupboard there. What have we got here, Sam? I'm sure you'll be back on your bike in a few months. Sam, going to be more than a few months, mate. I've got a plate in the top of the wrist and a plate in the bottom of the wrist, and this one's supposed to come out in 3 months. The bottom one's supposed to come out in 6 months, so it's at least 6 months, man, before I can start doing rehab and getting movement back in this wrist. How it is at the moment, the wrist's locked. I've got no movement that way due to the plate going right through to this knuckle. And I've got no sideways movement like that due to the plate on the underside of the wrist holding the end of the radius on, man. So I'm out for minimum, at least probably 7-8 months off the bike, bro. Yeah. So yeah, the mental health side of things, just like I said, about being able to ride again and what level. I know of people out there that have had, major injuries. I know people that are at the top of their game that have had major injuries in the hard enduro scene. I know guys that have had the same injury that are back to their same level. So not working, home alone. I'm lucky enough I've got the hobby of, editing the videos and stuff. I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram, which helps. It gives me a reach to my followers on both of them. And yeah, they're so supportive in that. Lucky enough to have a supportive wife at home. But yeah, I'd really be interested whether you guys put in the comments here, or happy for you to head across to my Facebook or Instagram, send me a private message in there. I'm happy to, if you want to share your stories about the mental side of things coming back, like dealing with injury initially, and being off the bike and off work and that sort of thing, as well as the mental side of things about as you start getting back into riding. I'd love to hear your guys' stories, and might help you guys talking about it. I dare say it'll definitely help me. And, there's probably other people out there that watch this video. They might get some help out of it. They might be going through the same thing at the moment. You know, they down the track, somebody might be in the same boat. They might be, you know, scrolling through YouTube and find this, and you know, hopefully reach out, get in contact, and hopefully be able to help each other. So yeah, I'm not sure what else, guys. Hey, Sam, man, I had everything on you can think of. I had my body armor, I had my knee guards, had the proper boots on, mate. Gloves with palm savers, which the palm savers actually saved my palm because the glove was torn to shreds. The palm saver was still okay. But yeah, man, I wear all the gear all the time. I don't compromise, even if it's just you know, going over the spot that I know. Always wear the body armor, always wear the helmet, always wear the gloves, always wear the boots, always wear the knee guards. Just don't compromise. You know, you never know. I've been going for a ride on the beach and people are like, oh, why are you wearing body armor on the beach? You know, the sand's soft. Mate, all you got to do is go over the handlebars at speed, have the bike flip, come over, foot peg hit you in the middle of the back, wheel hit you in the middle of the back. You know, the body armor that I wear has full armadillo protection from the base of the neck all the way to the tailbone. So chest protection, lumbar protection, forearm, elbow protection, shoulder protection. Yeah, just don't compromise, hey. Well, crew, I'm not sure that there's much else that I can talk about. Thanks to those of you that have jumped in and interacted. Those of you I noticed there's, you know, got up to a few there at one point. So there's obviously people might have been watching on TV and that have, you know, not been able to comment and that. So thanks to everyone that jumped in and watched. Thank you for those that have jumped on after the fact, like watching this later on, not necessarily live right now. Appreciate everything everybody's done. Thank you. Look forward to catching up. Not sure when I'll go live again. Might go live after the checkup in 2 weeks' time. Give you an update on how that checkup goes and whether I'm allowed to start trying to walk again and use this arm. But anyway, yeah, thanks. Stay tuned for more videos. I've at least got another enough for 3 more videos, which at this point releasing videos between Friday and Sunday of each week, depending on where I'm at with it and what's going on. So keep an eye out. Yeah, I got one more Las Vegas video which will be out next weekend. Then I'll have the Creb ride which will be out 2 weekends time, and then I'll have a crash breakdown video. We'll pull that to pieces, and yeah, that'll be in like 3 weeks time. So yeah, thanks for everyone for your support. Thanks to all my sponsors, Focus X Gear, Undercover Australia, Auto Electrical Solutions, Classic Paint and Fabrication, HEADSKINZ Australia. So I've had X Brand Goggles Australia. They were private. I was sponsored by them. They've actually now released their X Brand Goggles has been released across to MX Store. So more than likely, you know, they'd said to me that I'd have to take it up with MX Store to continue sponsorship and all that sort of thing. But At this point in time, with the way things are, I'm not going to follow up on that, just due to the fact that I'm not going to be able to ride and race for the most part of next season. So at this point, I've dropped them from advertising on my videos and that. We've also I've also had become part of the Rival Inc. Riders team. Unfortunately, obviously, this has happened. So I'm keen, as soon as I get things sorted, I'll be getting a Rival Inc. kit for the bike to upgrade to that. But at the moment, I haven't been advertising Rival Inc. just due to conflict that I'm going to be advertising them, and I'm going to be advertising them, but running the old sponsors graphics. So big thank you to Rival Inc. for taking me on board. I apologise for what's happened. Was keen to really hook straight into it and get going with you guys, but it is what it is. Who else have I forgotten? Oh, Moto Odyssey Australia. So they've sent me out. They've sent me out a bit of gear, shirt, coolers, stickers, and I got to catch up with them on the last video is actually called Moto Odyssey Australia, Las Vegas Rumble in the Jungle. So I got to catch up and ride with Charlie, the owner of Moto Odyssey Australia. So they've jumped on board. So they're part of the crew now, or I'm part of their crew, however you want to look at it. So yeah, oh dude, not on the leg. Who else have we got? What else? What else have I got on there? Yeah, Sammy's a big dog. Big dog. Oh, cheers, Sam. Yeah. No, definitely get the riding gear, mate. Don't do any sort of get back. You're gonna knock that camera. Go back that way. Go back. Not through there, bud. No. No. Back. Go. Good boy. He wants to go through here. There's no space through there, mate. There's no space through there to go. Back. Go back. Clown. Yes, so this dog's not going to give up, eh? Oh, now he is. Sorry guys, he's a puppy. He's only like, buddy, 6 months going on 7 months old. So he's still going to come back. Dear me. Yes. So Auto Electrical Solutions, Focus X Gear, Classic Paint or Classic Fabrication and Paint, Undercover Australia, Moto Odyssey Australia, HEADSKINZ, Rival Inc. jumped on board. Let me check my little thing here. Just jumped out of the live chat there for a sec. So, yeah, that. Yeah, so I think that's about it at the moment. Yeah, so just jump back into this live. Jump back into here. Sam, it's a Wolfhound Great Dane Mastiff, I think. So he's like just about to go 7 months old. He's gonna be a big boy. Hey Mick, how you going, man? Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, not too bad, mate. Just just gone live to do like a 4-week post crash update. Yeah, if you wanna jump back through, you can watch if you want, if you get bored, and just an update on things in the lead up to here, and then moving forward on what I'm looking at happening. So yeah, not long be jumping off, mate. I think I've just about exhausted most of the stuff, but I'll hang for a bit while I've got a few of your crew here. What do we got? Yeah, all good. I did see you had a issue. All the best, mate. Yeah, Mick, bloody bit of a crash 4 weeks ago, mate. Broke bone in the leg and fractured the other bone. Broke the tibia and fractured the fibia. Broke the radius and fractured the ulnar, and also smashed the wrist. So yeah, just on the road to recovery at the moment. Yeah, just taking each day as it comes. So yeah, that's probably about it, guys. I'm not sure how long I've been on here for. Suss this out. Not sure. No, it doesn't tell me. Does it show you guys down on your screen how long I've been live for? Did the same, jumping off a wardrobe. No, Sam, the bike didn't get messed up, mate, much to my wife's disgust. Yeah, could have jumped straight back on the bike and ridden it, mate. It's yeah. You'll see when I put out the crash video in about 3 weeks' time. You'll get the gist of everything. Yeah, it'll sort of put things into a bit of perspective, apart from the fact of the amount of damage on me compared to the actual crash. Quick look through things here. I'm pretty sure I've touched on everything. Pretty sure. Yeah. Live. Nah, Sam, I had my mate. I had two mates in front of us. They were literally like, I could see one of them in the footage as I went down, and then yeah, my brother was directly behind me. He saw the whole crash. Yeah, so yeah, no, it was 4 of us all up. So yeah. Yes. Bloody itchy nose, eh? Sure what's going on. But yeah. I never go riding by myself just in case I get hurt because I ride fast. Yeah, Sam, normally I used to ride a lot on my own. And then I stopped riding on my own for quite a while. And then when I started racing and I wanted to go out and train, especially when I wanted to train non-stop, like training for 3-hour races and stuff where I didn't want to stop, I'd normally go out and train on my own so I could push myself, didn't have to worry about somebody else getting fatigued and having to stop for them. So when I was doing that, I'd let my wife know where I was going to train. I'd let her know how long I was going to be roughly, and I'd always message her when I left, and then I'd message her when I get home. So she knew that if I said I was going to be about 3 hours and it had been 5 hours and I hadn't messaged her, she'd message me. And yeah, obviously, it's never happened. Like a couple of times I forgot to message her back, and she's messaged me and said, "Are you home?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, yes, I am home. I forgot to message you." But in the case where something happened and I wasn't home or didn't respond, she would know where to go looking for me. She's got contact with my mates with bikes that she can get in contact with them and say, "Hey, can you come out and help me?" Or can you, So I haven't had that happen, touch wood. And normally I don't ride too gnarly or too fast, and normally too far off the track. If I'm on my own, I normally stick to the track, don't go as fast as I can, or like faster, like pushing myself, and don't ride the really, really hard shit where there's a risk of getting stuck under the bike or that sort of thing. So there is a way of getting around it. You just got to make sure people know where you are, know how long you're going to be, and at least you got that safety net. So the new thing I've got as well is I've got the new Garmin Instinct Smart GPS watch. So when I go out on the ride, I set the track me, and it actually gives me a link that I can send to people. So I send that link to my wife. I had this going when I had the crash as well, but she can see updates on exactly where I've been, where I am. She can see the stats, so she can tell if I'm stationary for a long period of time. You start wondering what's going on. Flat tire, crash, that sort of thing. And it also gives her an exact spot that I am if she needs to either come out herself or needs to send somebody out to me. She can basically have an exact spot to come. So, she'd have an idea on how long I've been stationary in that one spot for. So a lot of good information. So yeah, the Garmin Instinct, if you have a look, did a live on that previous. But yeah, really, really good that you can share that exact route and stuff with a partner or with a friend or whoever you want, basically. So yeah. What do we got here? I'm never going to be... Yeah. Still have my GSXR 600, but I need to buy a stator for it. Now, it'd be cool to get that going, Sam. Yeah, Travis Pastrana broke almost every bone in his body riding dirt bikes. Yep, I think he's probably got more plates and screws holding him together than he has bloody bones and ligaments, that boy. Yeah, he'd have some aches and pains. You can see the way he walks with obviously knee reconstructions and brakes and stuff. He's pretty beat up, but still gets out there and rips, eh? Alright guys, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go and make myself something to eat. Chill out for a bit, watch something on telly. Once again, thanks to those of you who've jumped in. Thanks to those of you who are watching this later down the track. Don't forget, comment, hit me up on Insta and Facebook around your experiences. Check out Australian Enduro on Facebook. Check out all the other riders that have had similar injuries and that in there. And yeah, we'll catch up with you in a little while, hey? Take it easy. See ya.